I suppose now is as good a time to check as any that we all watched the same film.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Burrowers from 2008.
Yeah.
2008's The Burrowers.
Oh, not the 1973 version that's on YouTube.
What?
No, I watched the 1997 one, I'm afraid.
I watched Mousetrap.
Yeah, same diff.
Yeah, I
The
feel like I
same
did
vibe.
mistake them in my head. Anyway.
Yeah, Jim came in at one point and was just like, "Is that Lee Evans?"
Who did he think was Lee Evans?
I'm guessing
Mark Williams. Just he before you saw his face.
Oh, okay. Accidentally did Mousetrap again.
Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we watched The Borrowers. Had either of you seen this film before? Because this is one that I'd have watched this a lot as a kid. I don't think I had it on like VHS or anything, but it was just always on.
Yeah.
And I've caught it on TV a few times since. Like, I've not sat down and watched it in years, but like it always
premise.
seems to be. Yeah, well, yeah. Like I was genuinely...
Just to remind you, in case you forgot, or in case other people had forgot.
Yeah, because we did spend the last couple of weeks watching Pitch Perfect and movies we knew were good. And then I was like, I'm surprised that we've not done this, because this is genuinely one where I'm like, as a kid, I watched this a lot, and now I'm like, well, yeah, is it any good?
Yeah, I remember watching this film before I was like aware. You know, when you were really, really young and you'd watch stuff and it wouldn't go in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And like you'd just kind of look at a screen. I
think Helena still does that sometimes for this show.
Hey!
I think we all still do it. Let's
Yeah,
be fair, Dan. We all still do that.
I definitely feel the same way about this film. Like, the more I got through it, the more I remembered.
Yeah.
But in a horrible kind of not horrible, but in like a deja vu-y kind of, I can't quite believe that I've already seen this.
Yeah, like
kind of
you
way.
have vague memories of like single shots where you're like, I remember this.
Because I didn't remember what it was about. I remember the premise of there being small people that borrow things.
Yeah.
And I was very confused because I was sure it was British. And then at the start it's very American, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I must have been thinking about something else. Thinking, oh, maybe I'm thinking of the 1973 version that's on YouTube.
It's British American.
But yeah, it is Bramerican.
Bramerican.
And that was very jarring. And weird.
It's one of those films where it doesn't exist in any time and it is in no place ever.
No.
Like it's in the same like the TV show Sex Education. It doesn't exist in a time or a place. It just kind of exists in this weird English speaking country.
Yeah, except borrowers are British and human beings are American.
Except
for
Hugh Grant.
Except for Hugh Grant and
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie.
Fastest time mixing up the hues.
As a police officer.
Yeah.
And Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Okay, maybe that theory doesn't hold up. But it is really weird because they don't with Sex Education. It's more like they just don't do a great deal of like revealing stuff. So like you don't. But with this, there's like wide establishing shots of like red brick like towers, like tower blocks and apartments, and very British streets with little, council flat kind of, or council housing kind of neat rows, and then like the city skyline in the back's all red brick as well.
Yeah.
But the house they live in feels kind of American.
Yeah. And they've got
it's
a big
like
American
a big
fridge.
slightly like a detached house with like slight gaps in the walls and stuff, so that the borrowers conveniently live in there.
Yeah. Because this wouldn't happen in like a normal British house.
No.
Yeah, no, but well, one, cavity insulation.
Yeah.
Two,
They'd
actual
freeze to
rats that would scare the shit out of the borrowers.
Yeah, the closest
borrowers.
you'd get to this is like when a seagull accidentally gets trapped down the chimney that you've blocked off.
Oh man, we used to have pigeons fall down the chimney, and it was disgusting because they'd die on the way down.
Oh.
I suppose it's better than them coming out alive.
Yeah, that's true.
I get for me, not for the pigeon.
But they'd either like, if we had borrowers in this country, they'd either like freeze to death or drown before anything happened.
Yeah. Oh god, horror scenes of like their little floorboards.
But
flooding.
so this is like American, as you put it.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of out of time and space.
Yeah, it's a bit. Well, it's quite 80s.
But also very 90s.
Yeah.
But has bits that feel like the moments that are like 50s-y.
Yeah, you say that actually. His TV that he has is very old school.
Yeah. And there's like bits in the background. Like there's a point, I remember when they're driving through the city and there's someone on a block in the middle of the road directing traffic.
Yeah.
Like that's very like 50s, 60s-y.
I don't know, don't they still do that in America?
I mean here, but like, do they do that in America? I don't think they do.
I'm basing my knowledge of American policing is unfortunately almost entirely NCIS and Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
But on like a block in the middle of the road, I don't know. They might do. It just felt very like out of time here.
In one of the seasons, the main guy, Andrew, the captain gets like demoted and has to do that job for a bit.
Oh yeah, Captain Holt ends up doing that, doesn't he?
Holt, that's it. So, obviously, it's still a thing. Brooklyn Nine-Nine has no faults or discrepancies.
Yeah, no, she's but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's way more in your face than, like, Sex Education is. It kind of reminds me of San Francisco in Big Hero 6.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But obviously that's, like, San Francisco and Tokyo. So there's no British. there's no like added like red brick pigeons and everything.
But it does give it that really nice fantasy vibe. Like it does give it that like, it's really clever actually. That
I didn't hate it. It was just quite jarring because I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, once you like settle into the world, you're kind of. I guess it's easier to suspend your disbelief because you're like, okay, this place is kind of a mix of a load of real places, but it's not real.
I just took it as to get this movie funded, they had to appeal to both British and American children.
I mean, that's what it was technically, but on an artistic point of view, it does give it a sort of heightened fantasy feel.
It makes it feel a bit more like tiny people living in the walls could actually exist. Yeah, it could be real. Because
if this was,
I thought it was a TV show. Was there a TV show?
Don't think so.
Maybe. I'm not too sure.
No, just one. This film and its weird cast.
Yeah, so to try and get into the plot of it.
There was a British miniseries.
Yeah. So the main plot is you have a family of 3 that live there, which are called the Lender family, which took me about half the film to go, oh yeah.
Yep.
And the kids just straight up allowed to play with like gunpowder and shit, and he's like always making weird things.
He's trying to trap the borrowers because he's obsessed with shit going missing in the house, which is, actually pretty reasonable.
That's exactly.
50s coded, where it's like, oh, the child is allowed to play with guns, essentially.
And the parents are like, there's no such thing as, there's no reason things are going missing. It's just whatever. And the kid's like, nope, there is. And
to be fair, as an adult, I go, 100%. I wouldn't notice, or like would just put it down to me forgetting. I could have borrowers living in the room with me. I wouldn't fucking notice.
I just blame the rats.
Yeah, but like it's gone missing. Like I'd probably
pet
dropped
rats.
it somewhere.
I have pet rats.
Yeah,
I don't have I don't have city rats in my flat. I hope.
You got them country rats.
Not that you know.
I got them fancy rats.
You got them private school rats.
They would die in seconds if they met a real rat.
Yeah. If they met a borrower though. Ride them like a horse.
Yeah.
But okay, so there are little people, teeny tiny people living in this family's walls.
Yeah, they're called the borrowers. The main one is Jim Broadbent, and he's called Pod Clock.
Yeah.
It's a weird name. His kids are Arietti, which is the older girl, and then baby Draco
Tom
Malfoy.
Felton. Yeah.
P.
That was
Green.
a what the fuck moment for me.
His wife is I've written it down, but I can't remember.
Can't remember her name. They're pretty cool, like whimsical names.
Celia Imrie.
That's what this film is. It's whimsical.
It is, and it's got the timeless British cast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was the British cast of that era. We have a British cast of this era. This was
well, he's
that,
doing it, so I'll do it. So they'll do it, so she'll do it.
Yeah.
So
And then
because we all know
Why not?
they all know each other in this.
Also,
country.
we reckon this Tom Felton guy's going somewhere. Less sure about Arietti.
Yeah,
He
I think
doesn't
this
have a
is
picture up on IMDb, so I'm
I think
assuming.
this is the only film she ever did.
Yeah.
You know what? Not always a bad thing, as we've said before.
Yeah.
No, she was in one episode of Peep Show
Oh.
Oh, okay.
and one episode of Holby City.
Huh.
Fair
It's very Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
A couple of the child actors.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Well, some actors just don't enjoy it as much as they thought they would.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, I like to think of her as someone who chose to go to other walks of life, not someone who failed as an actor.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Having had a cursory glance over IMDb and related links, I don't know if I have seen this before. I think I might have seen the 1992 British miniseries.
Oh, fair enough.
They have the same names.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not enough photos and stills for me to actually know if I've seen this. But again, like that definitely came out on video, and The Borrowers starring Ian Holm and Penelope Wilton. So it's
Oh, Bilbo Baggins.
yeah, it's Bilbo Baggins. Like
Yeah.
it's The Borrowers has been done like quite a lot.
I didn't realise that. I'm going to have to put a brackets year at the end of the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god,
it's
he
like
looks like Bilbo Baggins in it.
It's like a beloved book. So
Yeah.
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 Speaking of looks, though, I fucking love the costume design and that in this, and like
Yes.
the general like the set design. It's got some surprisingly good little people effects in it as well.
Yeah. The VFX
Like-
are fucking incredible. And considering
Yeah.
like this was when VFX was bad.
Yeah, and like
this was when like body doubles was bad and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we
For
lucked out with this one. This
1997,
this doesn't have the mousetrap animated mouse
Yeah.
issue.
No, but it's like that scene where because at the beginning when they're trying to get ice cream and the kid gets stuck in the freezer, and
Yeah.
Podclock just kind of like jumps and runs across the whole kitchen. It's
Yeah.
such a cool little scene
Such
of
a
like
clean-
it's really well stitched together.
It's all really clean.
Yeah,
There's
Like-
also parts that I really enjoyed where they deliberately not shown the borrowers or not shown, and like the will, the last will and testament of
Yeah.
their aunt,
Yeah.
which obviously features quite heavily in the story. Potter, who I assume that must be a reference to Potter in It's a Wonderful Life, because
John Goodman in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
John Goodman, who is fantastic in this.
he's really good.
He's so deliciously hateable in this.
Mm.
Yeah, he's awful. But the last will and testament, he's got it out of a safe that had
Yeah.
been boarded up, and then the borrowers, the Arietti and P
Green. Yeah,
Pea
P
green.
Green. Okay, we'll only properly name one of our kids. That's fine.
The other one gets a tone.
well, yeah.
Yeah, he's not a child. He's a Pantene colour.
he's a shade of.
It's actually a UTI.
But he's staring at the wall as the will and testament just sort of walks itself along the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
essentially the Lender family, their nan's died, and she had actually left the house to them in the will, but Potter is
But
the lawyer,
There's
and
no
he's
proof.
he's like, oh, it hasn't been left to you, I'm afraid. She's left it to him, and then he's going to make it into apartments.
Well, no, it's not that he's left it to the lawyer. It's like that she's not got a will. So
Yeah.
without a will, and that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it will go to the next heir. It doesn't just auto to your dodgy lawyer who has a conflict of interests.
I think he was just trying to get them out of the way so he could then fake the will and be like, oh, it says that it's
Yeah.
going to me or something.
I mean, they didn't
True.
know that. They didn't know that
No.
it would automatically go to them. He just needed them out to be
Yeah.
able to get the deed of ownership.
They don't push very hard. I must admit, the parents are pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. Yeah, they're incredibly stupid.
Like, do you not care about the house you've raised your child in?
They're incredibly.
I mean, apart from the fact that like it's a bit of a weird house where stuff goes missing all the time, and there's
it's haunted.
There's tiny handprints in your ice cream.
At the minimum, haunted. As an approach, bare minimum, it's at least a bit haunted.
Go Sandra, it's just tiny people.
I guess they're just too nice. Like, the parents are really just nice people.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of, like, gullible because he's their lawyer and a lawyer would know.
Yeah, a lawyer wouldn't lie to them.
Yeah, because that's against the law. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah,
sorry, the mean
I love
again.
the costume.
The costume is so good.
I love the size of the stitches in the borrower's clothes.
That made such a difference, cool. Like how believable it was.
Yeah,
because all their clothes are made out of scraps and fabric.
I'm pretty sure Pod's main shirt is like actually just a label from a t-shirt. Yeah. And one of the doors in their little bit that they've built up is just like a credit card that someone's lost. Like the scale of it, it just feels it's so well done.
The scale of like the big things is fine. The scale of the little things, like the clothing, because the stitching on the clothes that they wear would be huge.
Yeah,
and the mum's even sat there like stitching clothes together.
Yeah, with like a massive needle,
of really thick yarn. And I love that that detail does so much for the film that if it wasn't there, it would look really bad.
Yeah, it makes them look little.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused about, I don't know if you guys can enlighten me, but like the shoes a lot of them are wearing are these sort of big puffy things. And I was like, is that like, were they popular Action Man shoes or something? I was like the shoes that P. Green and Arietti are wearing.
Yeah, I'm not too sure actually.
Didn't really notice.
Yeah, I didn't really look at that.
So I was just trying to work out if that was like, that feels like that might have been like a thing that people used to recognise. It kind of looks like bubble wrap, but a big / small, depending on the size of the person.
Depending on how it's,
how you're perceiving them.
Yeah, I didn't notice. May just be looking.
But yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference, and they have so many physical effects as well, and like physical sets.
Yeah, it's just
the money that they've ploughed into that makes such a big difference because it just. Oh, what's the one we watched that's terrible? But not as bad as it could have been.
A lot of them.
Are you thinking of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Where some of the scenes were a bit oof.
Yeah, because that was like 80s Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, wasn't it? So this is like a good 10 years or so after. So they've taken all the lessons they can from that, like, you know, the physical sets that worked well in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and just really went with it.
Yeah, rather than going to, it's the late 90s, let's do all of it in
bad CGI.
CI. Yeah.
They really did, like, and they put so much effort into understanding scale.
Yeah.
Because at no point, we don't have the problem of shifting size.
I was worried about that, yeah.
Yeah, like, they weren't as big as they needed to be for the scene. They were pretty consistently the same size throughout the film.
Which is surprisingly big for small people that live in your walls. I feel like they are a bit more noticeable. But, however, I suppose the whole thing of the borrowers is they are quiet and unseen. So
yeah, and very good at climbing.
Yeah. It says 4-inch high. What's that in centimetres?
That's less than a Smurf, I think. Because a Smurf is 3 apples.
What?
Sorry, I was just like, why the fuck would that help me?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I think Smurfs are canonically 3 apples high.
The fuck did you just say?
Dan!
What do you mean?
It's not...
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
The hell do you mean?
Oh no, Smurfs are... Okay, right. From smurfs.fandom.com, physically a Smurf is usually no more than 3 apples tall.
You don't get to just say that is like a standard... No, yet not a standard unit of measurement.
No,
also, like,
it's like...
It was just the expectation that would be in any way helpful for us working out how big the borrowers are.
Oh, I don't know. It just came to me and I was like... This is in no way helpful.
Be specific about what
so they're actually smaller than Smurfs.
What's the height of these
they're
fantasy
also smaller
creatures?
Than people.
Oh, it's this height. Another fantasy creature.
Yeah, another 30 we have no frame of reference for. Burrow's about
They're
one
about as
apple
tall as this glass.
But you got your video turned off.
And it's a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything has gone wrong. They're
Anyway,
about the
4
size
inches.
of the space
Well, 4
bar on
inches
your
is
keyboard.
10 centimeters, just over 10 centimeters.
It's about the size of the length of your keyboard, the space bar on your keyboard.
That is a good, yeah. That's
They-
about
They
right.
seem
that.
bigger than that. Maybe they realised they had to kind of.
I don't know.
Make
They're
them a
pretty
bit-
consistently that
Oh,
tall.
I don't know. Yeah,
And like American houses do have massive holes in the wall.
and like the kids are smaller than the adults, so I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
maybe the kids are.
Because they sit on his shoulders
Yeah.
at some point. And yeah, that's about right. They're pretty consistently.
Yeah, because like the shots at the end where they're all standing around John Goodman's shoes and like, yeah, they don't
Yeah.
really come up that high compared to them. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
they're
whilst
about...
their size is actually relatively consistent, their strength seems
No.
to vary wildly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everything else is different.
But I just thought that was quite funny, especially cutting right towards the end. They are trapped under a waste paper basket that's made out of wire. And
Yeah,
there's 4 of them
I
in
was
there.
thinking they
and
could
that was
easily
like why
move that.
yeah. And then but only half an hour beforehand we see 2 of the children lift a sewer grate
Yeah.
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 with ease.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it for me.
That's your issue.
My disbelief
Oh,
came plummeting back to
Yeah.
Disbelief has been suspended.
As soon as that waste
Unsuspended.
paper basket goes
Desuspended.
over them, and you're like, hang on,
They
They
could
could
just...
this movie about tiny people is so unrealistic.
But yeah, so evil lawyer guy is
Mhm.
he knocks down the wall. There's a weird quiet bit where he's like listening to the wall, muttering to himself.
Oh yeah, because it's a safe. So he's got the stethoscope to answer the
Yeah,
he's
to
looking
answer the
for
safe. That's not what that's
to try and find it in the wall. So just before
Unlock.
that is
unlock the safe.
the family move out, and the kid finds that the borrowers
Yeah,
are
the kid
real
discovers the borrowers.
because
and we have the
Arietti
gross
fucks up and drops
Yeah.
everything.
She's Arietti's parents are like, you cannot be seen, you cannot be heard. Like beans will squish you and eat
Yeah.
you and turn you into pulp, and it's just it's a whole bad idea.
Yeah, she gets caught because she's
'Cause
trying
she's
to
dumb.
snoop.
She's a
Yeah,
child.
she knocks off an action man or something.
And as soon as she gets caught, she immediately is like, she gives up.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
immediately
no,
like,
she hides, and then she realizes she's left her torch behind, which is
Yeah.
a birthday candle.
Yeah.
Which was very cute. I didn't like how she lit that, which was with some live wires.
Yeah, that seemed a bit dodgy.
I was like, not that's. I mean, that's possible. The problem is it is possible, and we should not be demonstrating that to children.
No. Borrowers are, resistant to electricity. It's fine.
Yep. They're very good at climbing. But yeah, she resigns herself to death pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like, just kill me already. Which,
She's like, I'm
I
gonna
think
do
is a
'Cause
good.
he
I
puts
think
her in
that is a
like
good
a-
behavior to instill in your children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he puts her in like a glass bowl, which looks like is what he collects like coins in and stuff. Like the effects of that when she's in the bowl and he's talking to her
That's
looks really
really
good as
good.
well.
Mm.
That's
Right.
really good. But yeah, she
There's a lot
accepts
of like
death.
good double focus shots in this film
Yeah.
where the borrowers are just as rather
and
than
he-
it constantly being like a cardboard box talking to a person or something like that.
I did like how when she says, "Do you mean?" She calls him a bean,
Yeah.
and he's like, "No, I think you mean human being." Actually, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
he understood. He was like, "This isn't a conversation worth having."
This isn't. Yeah,
immediately.
it's fine.
Yeah, there's more important things crashing down in my life right
Yeah.
now.
He was like, "I think you mean human being." You know what?
Yeah, no, it's fine. So his name's Pete, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, we have to move out because someone else is
demolishing
taking the
the
house. I'll help you move to the new house too."
Yeah. So he puts them in a box, and they get
and then
on the truck.
and then while they're moving,
Burrow
an ironing
kids-
board falls on the box, and the 2 kids fall out of a small crack in the bottom of the truck.
Yeah. Also, the parents are not bothered by the fact that the kid is talking into a walkie-talkie, or bothered
Yep.
that the walkie-talkie is talking back.
Kids, the
Yep.
thing is, number one, perfectly fine. Kids are weird. The thing that it's talking back is a problem. That's a problem.
I mean, yeah, your kid talking into a walkie-talkie, I'd be like, fuck, my kid's lonely. We need to get him some friends.
He needs friends.
But when it talks back, I'm like, nope, kid's staying home, never letting him out of my sight.
Especially
walkie-talkie's haunted. Fuck.
Especially when, like, the first thing he does when you get there is runs to the back and then rides his bike back to your original house.
Yeah.
Fuck no. That kid's talking to a nonce is what's happening there. You need to get him back. I'd have followed him. He's not going anywhere ever again.
Seems a bit...
I guess it is because it's set in this weird time zone. I guess it's this thankfully nice weird time zone where there's not that stranger danger.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he goes back, takes the parents back, and we learn whilst they're doing that, the kids in the original house are watching the lawyer.
Oh, the boy falls into a dog poo as well, which was very gross. And then nearly gets run over.
Yeah, he nearly gets straight up killed by that truck, but he manages to go in between the part of the tyres, maybe?
Yeah.
But so John Goodman is, trying to get the
safe.
The safe,
the deed to the house.
He pretty much always has a cigar at the start of this film as well. Yeah. But so the kids end up stealing the will, because they realise that actually this house should belong to the others. And so because of this, he hires Exterminator Jeff, who is Mark Williams, or one half of the people from 101 Dalmatians. Yeah. The other half comes in later.
Yeah. This is it also has the same vibe as 101 Dalmatians. It's that era of like late 90s kids film.
Yeah.
Kind of blurry fantasy. And so it's soft. I want to call it soft focus fantasy. That's the feeling you get. Soft focus fantasy.
Yeah, it's not realistic, but it's nice. Yeah, you don't mind.
It's just kind of nice and beautiful. Everything seems to happen at about 5 p.m. because it's all nicely lit.
Yeah.
And no injury is too deadly, like having your face burnt off with insecticide foam.
But even that, like, he's not that hurt.
No, because that's the first thing that Exterminator Jeff does is he fills the walls with the insecticide foam, and it ends up on John Goodman's face and rips his moustache off.
It feels dangerous. It feels just as a thing. The first thing you do is fill the walls with this acidic.
Yeah.
My mind was racing because they had already established that there are live wires in the walls.
Yeah,
like uncoated live wires.
Yeah.
That the little people use to start fires.
The fact that he knew about them as well. Like, he walked in and went, "Ooh, borrowers." So
they're sentient, but let's kill them.
Yeah, we know that they can think and behave, but fuck, they're
still vermin pests.
Yeah, and they still treat them like rats.
Yeah. He's then trying to smash the wall in with a hammer, and Pea Green ends up stuck on the hammer and then flings up and lands on a light bulb, which gets turned on, and as it's burning, he jumps off, and John Goodman tries to hit that with a hammer and then gets electrocuted.
Yeah. It's very mousetrap.
Any young kids in the room should know that in the good old days, light bulbs got hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real hot.
Very hot.
Like,
so if you were a tiny person clinging onto it, it would burn.
Yeah. Hot enough that, like, if it was a big enough light bulb and you had it, like, on your bedside table, you'd get hot after a while.
Oh, you got a good 100 watt.
Yeah, you'd get warm.
Oh, not like these LEDs.
No.
Good for nothing LEDs.
Cold is what they are. Cold in colour and cold in feeling.
I don't know about you guys, but my house, my flat is still lit fairly throughout with the terrible early environmentally friendly bulbs. The ones that take about 3 years to get to full brightness.
Oh. Yeah, and then they're just kind of like a horrible stark white light.
No, thankfully they're kind of more peachy.
Oh great. There's nothing worse than like white
but
light.
They used to you won't remember this but I think what happened is that the government was encouraging, or various energy companies were encouraging everyone to switch over from 60 watts to whatever, like, is it 14 watts or something bulbs? They gave them out for free, and my granddad just had a bag of them, like an actual sports bag.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Full of them. And when Jim and I moved into our first place, I moved out of my nan's, and she was like, "Take some with you," and we've still got some. Like they're made to last.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just went to check and looked directly into a light. So
Nice.
Yeah, I've been doing that for some time.
yeah, probably shouldn't have done that.
Ever tell you the story of when I got some secondhand lamps from someone on like Facebook Marketplace?
No.
And this
Did
is
you die?
No, this is the
Is it like when
stingiest
I
person.
bought a Xbox 360 and the guy had entire face tattoo?
No,
Okay.
this was like okay. So I went to the place, really nice place, really nice lamps, and she did the whole like, oh, she turned them on to show you they were working and all that stuff. And then she took the bulbs out. And then gave me the lamp. And I was like, how to be, like, weirdly stingy.
Yeah.
It's sad. It was like, okay, so she put the bulbs in to show us that they worked. Just to... It was just really
That's
weird.
kind of annoying because I don't keep, what are they, E27s? I don't keep
so.
them on hand.
It was just like, why did she do... What is it? And then, yeah, it was just... But it was a really nice place. It wasn't...
So they could have clearly afforded the light bulbs.
Yeah. It was just such a, like... And it was awkward as well.
Yeah.
Because you kind of like...
Yeah,
I didn't expect you to do
that's real
that.
tight.
Yeah.
Like these days, sure, when loads of people have like Philips Hue light bulbs or like... Yeah,
No,
to be fair,
they were like...
my light bulbs, the ones that we've had to buy have been like at least $5 each.
Yeah, no, they were like the simple, like,
Yeah.
LED lights. It was just weird, the thought that she got them out, cleaned them off, put the bulb in, showed us, spent like 30 seconds unscrewing the bulb in front. Mm.
It's like, you're not allowed this bit. Sorry.
Yeah, it was just
That costs extra.
It felt really weird. It felt really strange. Like,
That would be like when people used to buy and sell appliances without the plugs.
Yeah.
And everyone used to you had to fit your own plugs.
Yep.
My work still does that, but for things that go in ponds, so it kind of makes sense because you normally, wire it into a box or something.
I think a lot of like high end, like a lot of like specialist equipment does that.
Yeah.
It has to be like very much a special thing for a special reason because otherwise
Yeah.
appliances have to, by law, come with plugs in the UK.
Yeah.
Like
I guess we got fed up with people
stuff.
badly doing their own plugs.
Yeah.
In the same way
I was
that, like,
taught how to do it once at GCSE.
especially if like because they have to be if they're in a place of business they have to be like checked now, don't they?
Yeah, they get pat tested.
That's it.
I love pat testing. Like this, it happens at work obviously once a year, and it's just some bloke comes in, looks at the plug, goes, "Yeah, that's a plug," and puts
Yeah.
a sticker on it.
He does
Yep,
a test.
that sounds
and
about
goes,
right.
"Ah, you
I have a mobile phone charger that is apparently pat tested.
yeah."
For some reason, we had like a brand new extension lead, and he was like, "That one failed." I'm like, "Why?" Just did.
Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Why is Pat?
Don't
against
question
it?
me, boy.
Yeah. I
Well, he
have to.
asked-
I've tested so many. Legally, 2 of them have to fail.
He messages Pat.
Yeah.
What do you think,
And-
Pat? Fail.
Pat gives a yes or no.
Oh, I thought it was to see if it's working. He just gives it a little pat, like doo doo doo. Oh yeah, it's all right.
That was
The
good.
lights didn't flicker when I patted the plug, so it must be
Safe for
fine.
Pat test.
I'm glad none
Anyway,
of us are engineers.
yeah.
The barrels.
So the kids end up ziplining along some power lines to get
Oh, yeah.
away.
Are they power lines or telephone wires?
Maybe
Yeah,
telephone
telephone
wires. Yeah.
I think they're telephone wires because
They might be power
don't
lines.
die.
Well, no, we've already established that they're immune to electricity.
They're shock
Well,
resistant.
they're definitely more immune than Potter is.
Yeah.
Wait, I love that he's called Potter and Draco Malfoy is in this film.
Yeah.
Yep.
Potter. The boy manages to escape with the help of his sister and a
Helena has dematerialized.
She's just been
Tape measure.
electrocuted.
Oh, I'm here. I've been talking the whole time. Hello?
She's been
Hello?
taken.
Can you hear me?
The borrower's got her.
No! I'm still here. Can you hear me? Hello?
The best part of this is, like, Helena's recording will still have her talking.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll just sound like nonsense.
But you
Hello?
just cut all this out.
Yeah.
Hello?
At the end, that's fine.
She did
Hello?
dematerialize.
Yeah, normally she's back by now.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
But yeah, he does get proper zapped by. He gets fully tased
Hello?
with that hammer in the light bulb.
Was it after losing
dear.
his mustache to the
dear.
phone to the
Well,
death
I'm going to
phone?
keep recording.
And not his eyebrows.
Anyway, welcome
though.
to
I was
Helena's
disappointed
football
they didn't
hour.
take his eyebrows, and he didn't have
today
covered
we're gonna
eyebrows for the
talk
rest of the film.
about
That would have
Yeah.
been great.
Random City. No,
That would have been amazing.
right,
I'd have loved
sorry.
that. If he just like had no eyebrows for the rest
Oh,
of the film.
Discord just crashed. Okay, that might explain
But
it.
how are you going to get the emotion out?
He's angry. He has no other emotion.
Yeah, no. Yeah, John Goodman in this is just angry.
He's just
Um,
angry.
But yeah, so to track them down, I mean, I should probably wait for Helena.
Yeah, we should probably. He's probably gone through half the film by this point.
Yeah,
Update failed.
she'll come back in and be like,
That's promising.
and then he gets rescued from the milk bottle.
So, out of 10,
So yeah,
Internet working?
do you reckon she knows that? Do you reckon she can hear us?
I don't know. Maybe. Oh no, she's just gone.
She might have actually.
Hopefully her. I mean, I've got the backup recording at least, so
Hello?
Hello.
you're back.
I am. I'm so sorry about that. Discord crashed.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
It just took
Did
a
you
really
work
long
Or if it
time
was
to...
your whole laptop, or
Did your recording
just-
crash?
No.
Okay,
Recording's fine.
oh, okay,
I think.
good.
Yeah. I've been chatting the whole time, so, you know,
Of
keeping
course.
everyone company. And mostly myself.
Could
Sorry
you still
about
hear
that.
us, or?
Nope.
Oh, okay, fair.
So, well, for a bit,
Yeah.
I'm answering you guys
Yeah.
and nothing's happening. And then there's some pleading, and then I tried to leave and come back, and then Discord crashed. And then
fair
Discord
enough.
tried to update, failed to update, and then opened anyway.
Well,
It
you're
went-
back, so it's
we've got
fine.
an update. Actually.
Yeah. All's well that ends well.
We thought you got by the borrowers.
Yeah.
Or electrocuted.
Honestly, with the way this laptop's being recently, it's distinctly possible. Did I tell you that I bought because this laptop's pretty ancient now.
Mm.
Finally had to buy a new cable for it because the old one just gave up the ghost, and I just got a cheap, shitty one online. And for ages, it doesn't seem to happen anymore, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I used to have to be really careful when winding it up because I would give myself a shock if I touched both metal pins.
Oh no. That does not sound safe.
So I'd have to earth it on my little metal mirror or the radiator before I put it away.
Yeah, at least we've confirmed that Helena isn't a borrower because she's not immune to electricity.
I am not immune to electricity. I've had some nasty shocks working at I'm sure you had too, Dan, working at the arcade.
Surprisingly, no, because I was never actually in the pinball machines. I was just doing the.
Yeah.
Here's a token.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, in the considerable downtime, sometimes I would fiddle. And
Yeah.
mostly to get coins stuck out because people would shove 2p's down them.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about that kid who didn't know how to pull out plugs from a wall?
No.
We had a volunteer once, and he was far too. He was too old to do this. He didn't know how to pull plugs out of a wall. So
he was 6.
He was 16.
16, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's worse. 6, I'm okay, maybe they're just very shy and cautious and their parents have told them off for unplugging the fridge or something.
Yeah.
No, he'd pull it out a little bit and then get his fingers underneath the plug
Ooh, interesting.
whilst it was still kind of plugged in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the sweet spot.
Yeah, the danger zone. And when we saw him doing that, we were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because I'd never really pulled a
And
plug
then you're
out
no,
before.
the easiest way is to just get a fork in there and wedge it open.
You just
Something
pry it
metal.
out, you know?
Specifically Mel. But yeah, he was just like, "I've never really taken a plug out before."
What the fuck is wrong with this person?
What do you
If only there was some sort of large plastic area you could hold on to.
Well, I still don't fully understand what he means when he says that. Because
Yeah.
how?
Don't know.
How?
Is
I
is
don't
he
know.
British? Is he from a country that has different plugs?
Nope, he's British. I don't know
His
how you
house
go
is
through
wireless.
that much
How
of
the
your
other
life.
half live?
Mm.
I don't know how you go through that much of your life without knowing how to take a plug out of a wall.
No.
Lovely guy. Really nice guy.
So,
Confusing life.
anyway.
Yep.
Jeff the Exterminator
Yes.
has a dog called Mr. Smelly.
Yeah.
He feeds him on cheese.
Exclusively cheese.
Gives the dog maybe the worst diet you can give a dog,
Yeah.
bar chocolate.
The dog does not look healthy.
No.
Was it kind of basset houndy type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
that's
bloodhound,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, bloodhound. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
And as they're about to use the dog to track down the borrowers, Hugh Laurie appears as a police officer, and he's like, "Oh, there's been a bit of a commotion," but in his late 90s Hugh Laurie accent of British.
Yeah. Before he was American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not Greg House in this one.
Yeah.
It is a weird. This was the one that really sets the where British and American appearances don't gel.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to look like a mixture.
Yeah.
So he's not like, obviously it's very easy to make someone look like a policeman in the UK because we have stupid hats.
Hey, well, a lot of public jobs have stupid hats. It's how you tell them apart.
But yeah, but he's wearing like it's
He's
just
wearing,
a
like,
uniform, a black uniform with
an
police written
American
on it. Like it's not like difficult to
uniform.
tell what he is, but it's not. It's clear that they were like, well, we don't want him to look like a British policeman.
Yeah. It's
So
kind
he
of
looks a bit like a
jarring.
private cop,
It's kind of
like
jarring
security
to
guard.
look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that looks close enough to a police officer for me to recognise police officer, but he's neither American nor English.
No. So they end up going. At this point, Pete makes it back to the family house with Pod and Homily. That's the wife's name.
That's a type of pie, isn't it?
Maybe.
Or is that hominy? I think hominy pie is a type of pie. I think that might be a
Yeah.
potato pie.
But yeah, they see on their little crudely drawn map that the kids are trying to get to the new house. Meanwhile, the kids get startled by a pigeon.
Well, they're sneaking through the roof.
Yeah, they're cutting across the roofs.
Get startled by a pigeon, fall down the drain.
Yeah, and then Pete
Boy,
Green gets
yeah.
stuck in a milk bottle.
Yep.
And then Arietti ends up left alone. The policeman's like distracting the others by accident, and he
buys
Pete
them
Green.
because he's got a burnt face. He's like, "I'll buy you." He buys
Oh
him,
yeah,
like,
he buys him some cream.
face burning cream.
Yeah, which
And
sounds
he's
like
like,
cream that
"Oh,
burns your
sorry."
face, but it's not.
It's the opposite.
But yeah, so Pete Green ends up stuck in this milk bottle, picked up by a milkman and taken off, and then Arietti's all alone until suddenly another borrower appears called Spiller. And he's like, "Come with me, I've made a rocket, like, roller skate car under the underground."
Well, I want to just get over the horror that they're called an outie.
Yeah, because they're outside
So
borrowers.
the borrowers that are outside are called outies.
Yeah,
And the
innies and outies. Not to
borrowers-
be confused with navels.
It's just weird. And I'm not happy about that for the rest of the film. Especially when they're like, "Dad, you used to be an outie?"
Yeah.
Sounds like his navel his tummy button just receded over time.
Don't do that.
But also,
Don't say
no
that.
offense if you're an outie, but
It's weird. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. You should keep that stuff to yourself.
It's uncomfortable. Push it back in. Get that back in there. Is what you should be doing.
Just cut that little bit extra off. It's fine.
Cheers. Oh. Sorry, if someone does have an outie, by the way, I'm probably making the film so uncomfortable.
I was just in the haven't
Half of our
heard before,
listeners.
the freaks.
No, I don't know. I think someone telling them, "Get that back in there." You put that back. I don't know
We're
how many of
spending
them
our
have heard that
Patreon
before.
money on belly button surgery.
No,
Okay, it's statistically likely that at least one of our listeners has an outie.
Yeah, I'm creating a new product called a belly button pusher. And it's from outie to innie is the slogan.
Omphalophobia. I think we all have omphalophobia.
It's
Well,
just
I'm
bad
not
to look
scared
at,
of it.
though. No, they're all bodies are beautiful.
Except
Oh no, sorry.
Andy's.
Omphalophobia is just the phobia of belly buttons in general.
Oh, yeah.
Including outies. Outies are like if you got that, outies are like a jump scare.
You're expecting a hole, but instead.
Sorry to anyone with an outie. We're not outie phobic.
Yeah, let's move on to the real victims of this film, the gingers.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that all borrowers have red hair.
Yeah.
wild, untamed red hair.
Yeah. They're also
It's because they don't make combs small enough.
So that that is true. It would be hard
That's
to.
a good point, actually. My deepest sympathies to the borrowers now.
We've got knotted red hair.
And if they, try and use hairspray, they'll suffocate and die.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, or start a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're clearly not good with fire safety,
No.
as we know. The name borrowers, right? Because I always thought it was burrowers when I was a kid, like as in something that burrows, because
Yeah,
they live in the
belly button.
walls and they do horrible. They live in nightmare walls.
Yeah.
But they're called borrowers because they borrow things.
They borrow things, because to them they're going to give it back, but they don't.
Yeah, I was
But
going to say,
even-
do they fuck? No, they don't give them back ever.
But
No.
even
There
like
was not one instance of us seeing them, apart from when they return a dead battery
yeah,
into, and those were disposable batteries.
They
That's
don't know
not
that.
borrowing.
they don't know that.
Well, of course they do.
But the outies are still called borrowers. That's what bothers me.
Well,
They're
they
not
just
like
borrow from the general public, I guess.
A different subspecies. Are they a different subspecies of? Like, are they
I guess
evolutionarily
it's more like
different?
urban and countryside.
Yeah, like pigeons.
Yeah.
Or pigeons and
Rats.
doves.
Yeah,
Or fancy rats and city rats.
Yeah.
closer to cats. Actually, you have indoor cats
Yeah.
and outdoor cats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And outdoor cats ruin the local environment, much like outies do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They destroy the local.
All those kids that only
ecosystem.
have one roller skate.
Yeah, they just demolish the local.
That's why traffic
ecosystem.
lights and that rarely work. They've just been nicking
Full
bits of
of-
wiring from
So the rife of borrowers.
borrowers,
Yeah.
just fucking nicking the copper wiring out of things.
Yeah, they're gonna give it back.
But it goes so nicely with their skin tone.
Yeah.
Only like 2 or 3 of them die from electrocution getting it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because most of them are immune.
Yeah.
Most. Only the innies are immune.
Yeah,
Because
unfortunately,
they've grown up around it, so yeah.
Yeah. They've
Um,
grown a resistance to electricity.
That's a thing that can happen.
Is it?
Start now, kids.
Yeah, I want to start. I want to get that superpower. Fucking be Storm from.
Once at the ripe old age of 16, once you've learned how to take out a plug,
Yeah.
Yeah.
now's the time to start
Now's
training.
the time.
hmm
You'll never get got again.
No.
You'll
I
show
mean,
them.
Who is them in this situation? Big electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lightning.
The sky. Zeus. No, if you do that, you can finally fight off Zeus.
Yeah. It's a very different Percy Jackson. he's
He's
not the son
slowly
of. He just was
build-
training by shoving a fork in a plug.
Just slowly, he's got one of those those like wall that changes you can control like the amp of the power. He's got one of them and he's just slowly turning it up.
He's got to. He's getting ready to fight Zeus and Poseidon, holding a toaster over the bathtub.
Oh man.
Anyway,
So then we
Anyway.
get onto some real destruction, which is at the bottling plant.
yeah,
Yeah.
bottling plant. Pea Green's stuck in a bottle, and they're all getting automatically filled up with milk.
I thought this was quite a cool little. It felt a bit like Come Outside, where it's like, and now we're going to go to and show you how a bottling plant works. Kids.
Yep.
Yeah. First, you get the tiny boy stuck in the bottle.
It's a bottling plant.
Yeah,
that also
Pippin's
does
knocked over a
cheese.
glass bottle, so now they've got to go to the milk factory.
Yeah.
Also
bottling
does
plant.
cheese.
Yeah, and it does cheese in some quite upsetting ways.
You know,
Yeah.
the cheese pipe.
It's the American cheese.
Well,
That's how they
it's
make the
cheese
sheets
whiz.
of it.
It's cheese whiz.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's stuck in a milk bowl. It looks like, and they're getting filled with milk, and it
Yeah,
looks like it's boiling milk. It's like
Yeah,
steam.
it's just freshly
milk.
pasteurized milk.
It's just normal milk. I thought it was going to burn to death in
Yeah.
there.
Well, I'm like, how did they sterilize the bottles? Surely
Yeah.
I always thought it was heat. So
Yeah.
in my mind, he was dead before he even got to the milk stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty mad how he's about to be rescued and you think he'll be fine, and then John Goodman knocks him out of the way, and he ends up with the bottle fills with milk and a lid gets put on it. He's like, oh
Yeah,
shit, he's
he's gonna
gonna
drown.
drown.
Also,
I did say at the time, oh no, he's going to get milked, and Jim was like, that's disgusting, Helena.
Yeah,
Stop that.
Don't put a tiny person in a glass bowl and fill it with all.
That's little Draco
liquid.
Malfoy there.
Yeah.
Just leave him alone.
poor guy.
But
yeah, he gets properly like drowned to the point of like being almost unconscious.
Yeah.
And the parents rescue him with another excellent zip line scene.
I love films. Like, one of my favorite things in films is when you have like adventurous kids that are like get themselves in trouble, but then you have like parents that are just as fucking good at it.
Yeah.
I love that. Where you're like, ooh, the parents. I love when the parents come in to save the day, and it turns out the parents were like knew how to do all of this and were good at it. And you're like, oh, that's so nice to be like, oh yeah, they are the same as their parents.
Yeah. So they rescue Pea Green, but then they end up getting grabbed.
Can we go back to Mr. Pot when they're trying to lasso Pea Green out of the milk, and Mr. Potter starts smashing the bottles.
Oh yeah, that was like that's a lot of destruction of property.
Why is he smashing? He could have just waited.
And where's the attendant? Like, I know it's like it's an automated process.
Oh, there's got to be people there. Has to be people there.
Yeah.
To be fair, if I was in charge and I was the only person there and I saw this happening, I wouldn't.
I'm on break. Yeah.
And you know how useless the one policeman.
Yeah. I just take my break at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the way he's smashing all of the bottles like that. And then when they start like almost saving him, he starts smashing them faster.
Yeah.
It's like just walk up to where they are and smash their bottle.
But it's automated. It's coming to you. It doesn't matter how fast you smash them.
Yeah. That was a bit strange. It was an excellent scene, but it was like, why is he doing this?
Strange.
But I guess what we can assume is that he's not been quite right since he electrocuted himself.
No, that's true.
When he did put a hammer through a light bulb.
Yeah, but they get away by lassoing a lever that they swing on, and that lever is
the cheese lever.
It's the cheese blaster. Because what that lever does in this milk bottling factory is it builds up...
Is fill a vat with liquid cheese.
It pressurizes the cheese in a vat and then blasts it full speed onto a metal tray.
Yeah.
It's so they can, when he captures them and sellotapes them onto the metal tray, it's so he can have he's gonna get them, but then Spiller ends up like just annoying him and
cheese.
Gets munched.
Why would you make that a single lever? Why would you do?
I love just after that as well, where he put when the kid he finally gathers, like they're all in the same place and he gathers them all up and he sticks them down. He like knows how to use the cheese
the cheese pressurizer.
Machine. Well, and because he puts the gobby kid in a
in something.
It looked like a meat grinder, but I'm like, nope, it's a milk and cheese factory.
I don't know what this factory does.
To be fair, they might do sausages as well, scotched eggs. Who knows?
Why in this factory? The cheese thing though, it looks like every now and then they need to like blast out the cheese.
Yeah, the cheese pressure gets too high.
The cheese pressure too much. They need to blast out the cheese.
It's honestly not the most upsetting cheese scene.
No.
Because we also then have the dog comes back.
Mm-hmm. And it ate a whole bowl of cheese.
He eats, does he eat the whole bowl, or does he does he eat some of it and then there's just dog imbued cheese that's going to hit the market?
I think he eats all of it. I think they come back and the whole bowl is gone.
The whole bowl's gone and the dog's just lying there farting. But and the only reason they get saved from the cheese nozzle is because the kid Pete manages to get in and swings the nozzle away.
Yeah, and then he rolls out, and the cheese is far more watery than it ever has been at that point.
Yeah.
I don't like the cheese. The cheese is the most upsetting part of this film.
I feel like we had the two cheeses. The British cheese, which is like, okay, here are the curds settling.
Yeah.
In the bowls, like that's
the dog eats.
They're in lots of bowls with nice gingham cloths over them, and then there's the American cheese, which is factory made with big metal.
Yeah, the high pressure cheese blaster.
High pressure yellow, yeah.
And it's that American cheese yellow.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get saved by the kid.
He gets saved, and then Potter's like running over Pete's bike, and he's driving. He's managed to get the wheel, and he's driving to a bit in a
Can you imagine
council building? Yeah, City Hall.
Can you imagine being that driver in what looks like a Rolls Royce, and the guy's just like, drive over the bike? He'd be like, no, sir, this is a Rolls Royce. So I don't think you understand how it will do more damage to the car than it will the bike.
He backs into it, doesn't he?
No, he drives forward over it.
But yeah, the
which
bike's
will fuck
fucked.
up most of the car.
Yeah. But that means that it's time for Exterminator Jeff to have a change of heart. And he's like...
realised that killing people is wrong.
He realises that the sentient borrowers are in fact also people.
Yeah. So he gives them a lift to like try and chase down Potter, who's going to... And the borrowers rocket shoe their way underground.
Yeah. Favourite scene in the movie?
The rocket shoe?
No, the woman behind the counter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, when she's telling Potter how to get to... Because he's not polite, so she like tells him this really roundabout way to get there. And then when Pete gets there, he's like, oh, please, can you tell me? And she's like, oh, yeah, take the elevator, 4th floor, it'll be straight in front of you.
She gives him like 3 chances to be polite.
Yeah.
She is like, if you say please, if you say please, and he's like, no, he's just rude. And she's like, all right then. Up the stairs to the left, up 3 flights of stairs. Go to the end of the corner, turn a corner, you'll probably need a break. Like, yes.
It's when he's like, is there a faster way? And she goes, walk quickly.
Yes, that was a very good line.
Oh, love her so much. She's the best character in this entire film.
But yeah, it looks like Potter has gotten there first, and he goes in, and as he does, he realizes it's like a storage cupboard, and the others have managed to get there quicker and swapped the sign over, and they lock him in a storage cupboard.
And then we enter a horror movie.
Yeah, it like they tie him up with they tie his shoelaces together and that, and
so what this shows is that they do have access to insulating electrical tape.
Oh my god!
And they choose not to use it.
They are deciding not to use it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But this is where he grabs them and traps them in that like paper bin. And he's going to vacuum them up.
When they're on his shoulders and they get the deed and they're like, haha, look what I've got. What was their plan to get down? Because they're just kind of on his shoulders now.
Jump on a shelf, I guess.
I guess climb down carefully.
But they just
use the wheel as a paraglider.
They just stood there gloating.
Yeah,
and of course they're going to grab him and throw it. But yeah, then they put the light paper waste basket on top of them.
Yeah. And he's going to vacuum them. And then the vacuum cleaner mysteriously turns off, and then a fuckload of borrowers come out, and they like rappel down from the ceiling fan with string, tie him up, and then turn the fan on, so it just ties him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where we find out that the borrowers from the start of the movie are in fact isolationists.
Yeah.
Yep.
And have deprived their kids of like company their entire lives.
Yeah.
They've not been allowed to see other borrowers, but Spiller had made it out, and then all of like Pod's old friends are there as well.
Yeah.
And they're like,
kind of implied that they're like family.
Yeah, I think they're his brothers or something.
Yeah. Because they're terrified of her.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But yeah, like John Goodman is like just proper tied up, and he looks scared, which I'm not surprised because like
I'd be fucking terrified as well.
They'd swarm you like ants.
Yeah, I'd be fucking terrified.
Eat you in seconds.
Oh, if they wanted to.
Yeah. But Pod gives like a really good speech about how borrowers are kind
and nice.
Yeah,
and
we're
quiet.
People too, and you're kind of a maniac for thinking you can kill us.
Yeah, we're typically nice and quiet until you annoy us, and then we'll eat your eyeballs. Ignore that last part. Good at climbing.
But yeah, then Pete, Jeff, and the police officer come in and they arrest Potter.
And the rebels all hide.
Like, you might be the first man that we kill, but you will not be the last. And then they look in the camera.
Like you are not, or even worse, like you are not the first man to be killed by a borrower's hand, and you shall not be the last.
We can make it slow, or we can make it quick. We either start from the feet down, or one of us climbs in your ear. Which do you choose? But yeah, they get the will back. The family are allowed to move back into the house, which has now
massively
been
inconvenient for the parents.
Yeah.
Well, it's not been massively smashed to shit. It's like 2 bits of the house.
Yeah, a couple of walls.
Like the entryway, and they've smashed up the wall. Yeah. Which, to be fair, was kind of useful because hey, now they've got a safe they didn't know about.
Yeah,
exactly. They can keep the borrowers in there.
And like the borrowers need some. It's also very strange that the borrowers going back to living their old life.
Yeah,
So
but they
that-
do start
see
seeing
them.
their family and everything again, and the kid knows they exist. So,
But like, give them a room in their house. They don't need
Yeah.
that. They just need like a small cupboard, and they'll be
well, the
fine.
parents don't know that they exist, though. Still,
Why wouldn't you tell the parents?
because they'd still think you were mad. Because even when
They wouldn't think
Potter
you-
is being interrogated by the police, all the borrowers had disappeared when they'd walked in.
Yeah,
So
but
he
you can
just
tell-
sounds insane.
You can tell the parents.
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
the things. It could have gone either way, and both. I think both is a fine ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a sweeter ending would have been like, and the boy gets like a when he moves in like it's like, oh, it's ready, guys, and he's like made them a doll's house, or made them like
so they can
the
actually
back
live in there.
the back of his like a false back to his wardrobe, so they've got like their own mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they go back
Whereas
to
no,
living on
they're
the
back.
floor.
Yeah, living off scraps.
Yeah.
But he does
Yeah.
like give them peas,
Yeah.
3 whole
Yeah.
peas, but I guess that is quite a lot.
It's a lot for a borrower, especially one who's named after a pea.
Yeah, like,
Mm.
yeah, thanks for the peas. Get it? Yes, I got it last time.
Uh-huh. You tell
My
that
father's
joke
going to
every
hear about
time.
this.
He'll think it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So
the
did you
kids-
guys enjoy this film?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
loved
did.
it. It was
Yeah, I had a really good time.
whimsical.
Jim was
It
teasing me for how
whimsical.
much I was giggling through this
Yeah.
film,
It's
but it
so
hits a lot of that. Like, I don't think it's not super nostalgic for me in terms of I am surer and surer by the minute I haven't seen this before. I'm
It's
just
so
more.
full of
I'm
whimsy.
way more familiar with the Borrowers as a concept than I thought I was. So maybe we read the books and watched the TV show. Maybe we watched the 70s one. I don't know, but I'm not going to watch that. It's free on YouTube, and that is low enough
A
of a bar
bad
for me.
sign. That's a
It's
bad
never
sign.
a good sign.
No.
But yeah, it's good. And like the cast is nostalgic at this point.
Yeah, like the
I'm
cast
like,
are all great.
there's so many big names in it from British and American stuff. So yeah, like
I like that they were big at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
they thought
They
they thought this film was going to be massive.
Well, I think at this point you didn't need a film to be massive to get this level of actor in it.
Mm.
They were just happy to do a fun film.
Yeah. It was like it's a kids film. It was gonna be pretty successful, I guess.
Yeah.
And it
it's
does
fun.
it really hits that like feeling of late 90s kids film, like
Yeah.
just that,
They-
even if it's not this film specifically, just that general vibe of nostalgia for it is like
Yeah.
really good.
The VFX are incredible.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
looks
to the
so
point
good.
you don't really notice them.
No,
Yeah.
it's because
Which
it's
they're not
mixed so
so
well
bad,
with the set design and the costume design and all that kind of thing.
And
Like-
the physical effects.
Yeah, so that makes, when there is like limited CGI and stuff, that just sells it that bit more because of how good it looks. Like the mixing of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not jarring like Mousetrap, which I think is a pretty fair comparison film to this one.
Yeah.
Because when was Mousetrap the same time?
Mouse Hunt, yeah.
Later.
Mouse Hunt even.
Yeah, it was later.
Mousetrap,
Slightly
the Agatha Christie.
1997. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
is
both
it?
1997.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah,
Oh.
it's the same vibe.
Yeah, this is just British Mouse Hunt.
Soft, focus.
Well,
fantasy.
British-ish.
Yeah.
Soft, focus. British.
Yeah.
British. But like, yeah, Jim Broadbent in it is great, even though he is the same character
Yeah.
as he is in everything.
Yeah.
And
but
Mark
he's great in it.
Williams and Hugh Laurie are a good. They're such
great.
a good double act, even
Yeah.
though
Yeah.
they're not.
They're not
screwed,
a double
yeah,
act.
They're not baddies. Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not double
a
acting
double
this,
act,
but the
they're-
scenes with them in together, they might as
Yeah.
well be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they work well off each other. It seems to me like they got one of them, and because this is the year after 101 Dalmatians,
Yeah,
they must have been like, "Oh, do you want to come and do a part in this film?" Yeah, right.
That's
yeah. Do you
Kind
know
of-
someone who could be good for this role? Yes.
That's kind of how actors work, though.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point. Like, if they can get one of a group of actors in, they can probably get the rest of them.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you just get that actor to ask. And you can tell with this kind of films, because they do all look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
this
all
must
of-
have been a fun film. I guess it looked like it was building foam or whatever that they spray in. That's instead of that's the insecticide, or the pesticide that they spray in the cavity wall that makes just fuses to Potter. Goodman is so funny, and like the way it gets like firm, like loft insulation, like foam. Yeah. Insulation foam does, and peels it off his face. And someone, they've stuck the mustache inside it and everything. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. And it's got that 90s, and that early 2000s of kids' TV, so slime going on with that foam and then the liquid cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got everything you want in a kids' film from this era.
Yeah.
I think I'd give it, I think it's like an 8 cheese levers out of 10. That's not people leaving cheese. That's levers that dispense cheese.
Yeah, 8
at high pressure
cheese guns.
Or 8 wills that walk along a mantelpiece by themselves.
Yeah, I think 8 as well. 8 things borrowed but not returned. 8 stealers. 8 outies actually.
8 outies. Oh.
8 outies.
Apologies to the 8 outies listening to this podcast.
Hey, we're an outie.
We know who you are.
Podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to give this 8 mini Brahms out of 10.
Oh, Brahms would the borrowers would fuck up Brahms.
Yeah, the borrowers versus Brahms. That's
you think you're the horror? You think you're the serial killer in the walls?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it'd be so funny. Like the borrowers are like, yeah, we're borrowers. We live in the wall. There's also a guy.
It's just a full-on guy. It turns out the guy wasn't moving the doll around. It was the borrowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just thought it was kind of funny and a good way of getting soup.
Yeah.
There's also a big guy with a mask in there. He doesn't talk. We call him Masky. He's intense. Masky is intense as a guy.
No, he's in walls.
He does live in the walls.
It looks like he's got some of that insecticide foam on his face. That's why he wears the mask. The mask is insecticide foam.
We don't talk to him that much.
Yeah.
He eats a lot of soup.
He borrowed that girl's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He eats a lot of soup.
He seems to only know the word Greta.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I think before we go on a Brahms tangent,
I was having such a good time, and then you guys made me think about the boy again.
What a horrifying way to learn that there's someone living in your walls is to find out that you have borrowers, and the borrowers tell you.
Yeah, if the borrowers are like, yeah, this isn't the weird part, we've got something to tell you.
Look, we've come out for it. Normally we're not seen and not heard, but fuck, we need to talk to you.
We need to tell you.
This is important.
Oh, horrifying.
Well, with that, I've been Dan.
I've been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find this podcast on social media at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're also really tiny and in your walls.
Yep.
We have a Discord if you want to come and chat to us. Let us know which version of the borrowers you've seen, and if you'd rather have the borrowers or Brahms live in your walls.
Or the boy.
Yeah. And we have a Patreon where you can support the show. Helps keep us going. Means we can keep on watching nice old films like this.
Yeah.
What special thing are we going to be doing for the Patreon?
We are going to fund a The Borrowers and The Boy crossover. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be called The Boy 3 Living in the Walls.
The Boy 3 Brahms versus The Borrowers.
But The Boy 3, he's not the only one in the walls anymore. And it's about the Lender family moving into a new house in the middle of theoretically English countryside.
But they have a tiny, tiny small China doll.
Well, they get there and there's a small doll there, and the borrowers are like, the fuck is going on?
Oh, I mean, how scary would it be? So that the Lender family move in, weird things are happening in the house, and they're like, oh, it must be borrowers. We've had experience with borrowers before. Let's have a look in the walls. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
It's Brahms!
It's just a guy in there. They call the other borrowers. The borrowers go in all whimsical and come out terrified.
Or the lenders, they call Pest, Jeff Pest or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just absolutely bombards Brahms with pesticide foam.
Oh, you're thinking the other way. You're thinking it's the boy, but with the tone of borrowers.
Yeah.
It's just Jeff, Jeff's the best, just pouring pesticides on Brahms, just filling the walls up with foam. He's just like, well, this is taking longer. This is going to need more foam than I expected.
I feel like we finally got a premise for a new episode of AI Loved That Movie.
Can you hear distant screaming?
But really tiny.
Please remember to rate and share this podcast.
Yeah, give us a 5-star review. We don't deserve it, but still.
We do not deserve it.
Please give us, especially on Apple Podcasts. If you use Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review.
Yeah. And then stop
someone
using
gave
Apple
us
Podcasts.
Someone gave us a 2-star review. And there's not enough for it to have been drowned out.
No, they're
and it's
correct.
making me cross.
They're correct. I'm going to lean in. They are correct.
Look, I don't want accurate reviews. I just want 5 stars.